Have you ever been around someone who acts like they're your friend, friendly, chatting away, saying all the right things, but deep down, something just doesn't sit right with you? Like when you hear their words but feel this weird tension underneath, a kind of discomfort that you can't quite put your finger on. Maybe there's this quiet little voice in your gut whispering, "Something's off here. I'm not sure what, but it's definitely there." Well, this feeling isn't just in your head, it's very real. And Carl Jung, one of the most important psychologists ever, actually explored this idea in depth. He talked about something called the shadow, that hidden part of our psyche where the things we push away live, the feelings we don't want to admit, the ugly urges, the jealousy, the resentment we try to bury deep inside ourselves. Yet these things don't just disappear. They bubble up in strange ways, often disguised like tiny cracks in someone's smile. So what happens when someone around you secretly harbors negative feelings, like envy or even hatred, but hides it behind a mask of friendliness? How can you tell? How do we spot these subtle signs before the damage runs too deep? In this video, I'm going to walk you through 8 clear signs that someone close to you might actually be struggling with hidden hostility. And trust me, some of these signs might surprise you. They're not always loud or obvious. In fact, some are dangerously subtle, especially sign number 8. It's the one few people notice, but the one that can completely change how you see people in your life. Before we dive in, if you want more content that helps you better understand yourself and the people around you, stuff about personal growth, mental health, and spiritual well-being, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. This channel is all about helping you stay conscious and aware of what's really going on beneath the surface. Alright, let's get into it. Sign 1. Contempt hidden as irony. The first sign is something many of us have experienced. Someone throwing out sarcastic jokes or biting irony that somehow always seems to hurt you just a little. It's like getting poked with a needle wrapped in cotton. They crack a joke about your appearance, your past, or your dreams, and if you react, they just brush it off. Come on, I'm just joking. Don't be so sensitive. But here's the thing, when the same jokes keep coming up again and again about the same thing, they stop being funny. They're actually a way of hiding contempt, a kind of masked hostility. Carl Jung taught us an important insight here. When people suppress parts of themselves, emotions or traits they don't accept, they often project those feelings out onto others. So that sarcastic jab, it's often revealing something the person themselves doesn't want to admit. When someone keeps making those biting jokes at your expense, it's a red flag that something deeper and ugly is lurking beneath their smile. Sign 2. Quiet sabotage. Next up. There's sabotage, but not the loud, in-your-face kind. I'm talking about subtle, behind-the-scenes sabotage that can really mess you up. Maybe they give you bad advice right before an important deadline, or they forget to tell you about a crucial meeting. Maybe they leave out key details that you need to succeed. Now, everyone makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. But if these things keep happening, especially at the worst possible moments, it's probably not a mistake anymore. It's sabotage dressed in invisibility. Jung explained this kind of behavior as a projection of their own frustrations. People who can't admit their failures often lash out unconsciously, hoping to trip others up. So if you have someone in your life who always seems to complicate things just when you're about to take a big step, be careful. This might be their shadow coming through, their way of protecting their own ego by trying to hold you back. Sign 3. Silent competition. There's silent competition. It's subtle, but so toxic. You share something great, like a promotion or a personal achievement, and instead of celebrating with you, they immediately try to one-up you. You say, "I finally got promoted at work," and they reply, "Oh, I did that years ago." Or you talk about an exciting idea you have, and suddenly they have a bigger, flashier plan of their own. This isn't friendly banter, it's a quiet war. Over time, this behavior erodes your confidence, making you second-guess every win because someone always wants to outdo and overshadow you. Jung pointed out this is projection again. They see something in you they can't develop in themselves, and instead of being happy for your success, they want to tear it down to make themselves feel better. When every conversation turns into a competition, it's time to rethink whether that relationship is really a friendship or just a battlefield. Sign 4. Superficial support. Now, let's talk about a kind of support that feels off. You know the type, someone who says all the right things, like I'm really happy for you, but their words just don't match their energy. It's flat, like they're just going through the motions. No warmth, no excitement, no real joy. And when you actually need them, the person is nowhere to be found. There's always an excuse. I'm busy, I forgot, or I didn't hear from you. This is the kind of superficial support that secretly stings. It's the support that looks good on the surface, but falls apart when you need it most. And you start to feel alone, even with that person around. Carl Jung had an idea about this, too. He described something called ego dissociation, which is this psychological state where people disconnect from their own feelings. It makes them emotionally distant and unable to fully support others in a genuine way. That distance, it feels like coldness, indifference, emotional absence. When you spend enough time around this kind of person, you begin to question yourself. Why do I always feel so alone around them? Because even though they say they care, their soul just isn't in it. Sign 5. Control disguised as concernia. S1. That can be dangerously convincing. Control masked as concern. Some people act like they're looking out for you, but really, they just want to keep you under their thumb. They tell you what to do, criticize your choices, or raise doubts in your mind about your dreams and goals, all under the guise of caring. I just don't want you to get hurt, they'll say. But here's the truth, it's not about your well-being, it's about fear. Fear of losing control. Carl Jung explained that people who can't handle their own inner chaos sometimes try to control others so they don't have to face their own mess. Real care, it makes you feel supported, confident, and strong. This type of concern makes you feel small, weak, and dependent, like you're walking on eggshells. Sign 6. Gossip and distortion. People who secretly harbor resentment rarely confront you face to face. Instead, they talk about you behind your back. They take your flaws and blow them out of proportion. They spread rumors or subtle distortions about who you are, just enough to quietly damage your reputation without ever getting caught. You might start noticing that your friends or co-workers suddenly act cold or distant, but there's no clear reason why. That's when you have to look closer. Someone might be feeding them a distorted version of you. Jung believed this comes from deep insecurity and shame. When people feel these things, they try to project their own wounds onto others by tearing them down in secret. So when someone is talking badly about you behind your back, remember, they're really revealing more about their own struggles than they are about you. Sign 7. No joy in your joy. Here's a heartbreaking one. When someone just can't celebrate you. Real friends get genuinely excited when you succeed. They feel joy in your victories, big or small, and cheer you on. But people who secretly resent you, they struggle to even fake that joy. Tell them about an accomplishment, and they might say something like, "Yeah, cool, I did something like that last year," or they instantly change the subject. Carl Jung said this kind of reaction comes from an internal war. Your success reminds them of their own perceived failure. So instead of clapping, they minimize your win. If someone always reacts coldly when you're shining, don't ignore it. It's a sign, a symptom of something going on beneath the surface. Alright, now let's get into sign 8, which is the most subtle and also the most dangerous. Sign that someone close to you is secretly harboring resentment or even hate. It's called non-verbal betrayal. And unlike the other signs we've talked about, this one isn't about what someone says. It's about what they don't say. It's about the energy they give off, the little things their body language reveals. Even when their words are kind or neutral. You know those moments when you're talking to someone, maybe sharing something exciting or important, and you notice their eyes darting away, avoiding your gaze. Or maybe their smile feels kind of fake, like it's forced or a little too tight. Sometimes there's a silence that feels way heavier than it should be, like the air is thick and uncomfortable, and you just can't put your finger on why. When you talk about your success or good news, watch how their body reacts. Do they tense up? Does their voice suddenly sound flat or less enthusiastic? Maybe their tone changes, becomes colder or distant. These small shifts might seem insignificant, but Carl Jung taught us that the body never lies. Even when someone hides their hostility behind polite words, their unconscious will always leak out through their gestures, posture, or tone. This is what makes non-verbal betrayal so tricky to deal with. You might not hear them say anything overtly negative or outright hateful. They might even say things that sound supportive on the surface, but your gut, your intuition, It picks up on these subtle clues long before your logical mind catches on. And that's the thing about intuition. It's your built-in radar. It's why you sometimes feel a sudden chill or discomfort around someone who looks perfectly normal on the outside. Maybe you can't explain exactly why, but you just know something's off. That this kind of hidden hostility is the sneakiest, because it's so easy to overlook or dismiss. People like this can wear a smile that hides knives behind it. They might never confront you directly, but that silent energy often does more harm than words ever could. Carl Jung's whole message wasn't about fear, though he wasn't telling us to be paranoid or suspicious of everyone. Instead, he wanted us to see clearly, to recognize the shadow, not just in others but within ourselves. Because understanding these hidden parts of the psyche gives us power. It helps us protect ourselves and navigate relationships with more wisdom. So if you're feeling that quiet voice inside saying, "Hey, watch out, don't ignore it," that voice is there for a reason. The more you listen to it and trust those feelings, the less control anyone else's mask has over you. Now, if all these signs we've talked about, from sarcastic jokes to silent competition, from superficial support to subtle sabotage, are starting to ring true for you, know that you're not alone. Many people walk around wearing masks, hiding parts of themselves they don't like or can't accept. But here's the good news. Awareness is the first step to freeing yourself. The more conscious you become about these hidden dynamics, the better you can set boundaries, protect your energy, and surround yourself with people who truly support and uplift you. If this video sparked something inside you, if you feel ready to see your relationships with new eyes, then you're already on the path to growth and healing. And that's exactly why I encourage you to subscribe to Deep Psyche. This channel is a space where inner transformation happens step by step, where you can learn to read the shadows and heal from them. Remember, staying conscious and alert doesn't mean you have to be suspicious or guarded all the time. It means you're tuned in to what your soul is trying to tell you, learning to listen to those subtle signals, honoring your feelings, and not settling for anything less than genuine connection. So, thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, trust your intuition, and keep growing. Until next time, take care of yourself and those who truly deserve your light. Now that you know these 8 subtle signs someone might secretly resent or even hate you, it's important to dig a little deeper into what this really means for your relationships and your own peace of mind. First off, recognizing these signs isn't about labeling people as bad or toxic right away. Remember, everyone has a shadow, parts of themselves they hide or struggle with. Sometimes, people are unaware of what they're projecting or doing. That doesn't make it okay, but it can give you compassion for the complex mix of emotions. Beneath the surface, what's crucial is how you respond once you recognize these signs. Can you protect your own energy without burning bridges? Can you set boundaries with empathy instead of anger? That's where true emotional maturity and growth come in. One practical step is learning to trust that inner voice, your intuition. When things feel off, don't brush it aside. Pay attention to that quiet discomfort. It's like an early warning system your mind and body have developed to keep you safe. Ignoring it can lead to deeper hurt or betrayal later on. At the same time, avoid jumping to conclusions. If you suspect someone isn't being genuine, observe over time rather than reacting impulsively. Patterns reveal themselves slowly. One sarcastic joke might just be bad humor, but consistent sarcasm around your vulnerable points, that's a sign worth noting. Missing information once could be an honest mistake, but repeated forgetfulness, that's a warning bell. Now, think about your own life and your niche, your circle of friends, colleagues, family, or people in your spiritual or personal growth communities. Are there relationships where you often feel tired, confused, or emotionally drained? Do you ever catch yourself doubting your own worth after being around someone? These feelings can be clues that an unspoken shadow is lurking somewhere in that dynamic. The good news is, you're not powerless. Awareness gives you choice. You can decide how close to keep certain people, how much energy to invest, and how to protect your boundaries. If you're an online creator or someone working within a specific niche, this has real relevance to. Sometimes, competition or resentment can creep into communities or workplaces silently. People trying to one-up you, gossip behind your back, criticize you under the surface, all while pretending everything is fine. That's why cultivating a strong emotional radar is vital. It helps you spot who's genuinely supportive and who's just wearing a friendly mask. You want allies who uplift your vision, not subtle competitors who drain your energy. Another important point is recognizing when to take action. Whether that means confronting the person directly, limiting contact, or simply focusing on building relationships that nurture your growth. Keep in mind, confrontation doesn't have to be aggressive. It can be a calm, honest conversation where you share how certain behaviors make you feel. Sometimes, shining a light on subtle sabotage or sarcasm helps people become aware of their actions, and change is possible. But when someone consistently shows these hidden hostile behaviors, and it takes a toll on your mental or emotional health, then distancing yourself isn't selfish, it's self-care. Also, remind yourself that not all shadows belong to others. We all carry parts of ourselves we don't like or haven't fully faced. Sometimes seeing these signs in others is an invitation to look inward too, to identify where we might be projecting our insecurities or fears. For example, if you notice yourself feeling jealous or practicing silent competition, don't beat yourself up. Instead, use it as motivation to grow those areas within you that feel forgotten or underdeveloped. Carl Jung believed true healing comes when we integrate our shadows, making us whole and more authentic. To sum up, navigating relationships with these hidden undercurrents is challenging but deeply rewarding. You become more aware, more resilient, and able to attract the connections that really matter. If this sounds like a journey you want to keep exploring, make sure to hit subscribe on Hidden Truths. Here, we dive into all things about understanding yourself and others, healing, growing, and seeing the world with clearer eyes. Finally, remember to be patient with yourself through this process. Growth isn't linear, and sometimes it feels messy, but each step forward is worth it. Thanks so much for being here. Stay curious, stay compassionate, and as always, listen to that quiet voice inside. It's your greatest guide. Now, before we wrap everything up, I want to leave you with a few important thoughts on why understanding these signs and recognizing hidden hostility is such a critical skill, not just for your relationships, but for your overall well-being, your personal growth, and yes, even your success within your niche or career. First, let's be real. If you ignore these subtle signs, you risk carrying unnecessary emotional baggage. You might question your own worth, second-guess your decisions, or feel isolated and unsupported in spaces where you should feel nourished and encouraged. All because someone you trusted was hiding resentment or hostility deep beneath the surface. And that kind of energy is toxic. It creeps into your life quietly, like a slow poison, wearing down your confidence and joy without you even realizing it at first. It's not always dramatic or obvious like a fight or an argument. Sometimes, it's far more insidious, expressed through sneaky sarcasm, backhanded compliments, or subtle undermining. But the good news, you don't have to be a victim of this dynamic. Once you learn to spot these signs, you can reclaim your power and take control of your emotional environment. Setting boundaries becomes easier when you're clear on what's healthy and what isn't. You can decide who deserves your energy and who doesn't, and that's huge, especially if you're building your personal brand or growing your presence in a specific niche. Remember, community and support are everything when you're pursuing big goals. It's crucial to surround yourself with people who genuinely want to see you thrive, not those who are secretly competing with you, sabotaging your efforts, or simply indifferent to your success. Now, here's a quick checklist to help you protect yourself moving forward. Tune in to your intuition. Your gut feeling is often the first and most important alert system. When something feels off, even if you can't immediately explain why, take a step back and observe. Look for patterns, not isolated incidents. Everybody makes mistakes, says the wrong thing once in a while, or has bad days. But consistent signs, repeated sarcasm, ongoing forgetfulness, constant competition, those are the red flags. Communicate clearly and calmly if you feel safe doing so. Address concerns directly. Sometimes, people don't realize the impact of their behavior until it's pointed out. A sincere conversation can sometimes clear the air and even strengthen your relationship. Set boundaries without guilt. Not everyone is going to be good for your emotional health, and that's okay. It's perfectly fine to limit time with people who drain you or bring negativity to your life. Invest in genuine connections. Surround yourself with allies, those who applaud your wins, support your growth, and communicate honestly and respectfully. Reflect on your own shadow. Remember, Carl Jung emphasized that we all carry shadows. When you recognize these signs in others, see if any resonate with parts of yourself you might be struggling with. This isn't about blame, but about growth and integration. Keep growing personally and spiritually. The more you work on your own self-awareness and healing, the more you'll attract positive energy and the right people into your life and niche. It's a continuous, beautiful process. Finally, know this: recognizing hidden hostility and learning to manage it doesn't just protect you from harm, it's also a profound act of self-love and empowerment. It raises your vibration, sharpens your emotional intelligence, and ultimately helps you create a life that feels authentic and joyful. If you've gotten this far and feel like this video has touched something deep inside, that means you're on the right path. You're waking up to the complexity of human relationships and your own inner world, and that's a powerful place to be. Thank you for investing your time here. If you want to keep exploring these themes and truly transform your inner and outer life, don't forget to subscribe to Hidden Truths. This channel is dedicated to bringing you insights, tools, and stories that support your journey toward conscious living and inner growth. Hit that bell so you never miss an update. And if this video resonated with you, please share it with someone else who might need to hear this message, because awareness and healing are contagious. Until next time, stay conscious, stay alert, and most importantly, never ignore what your soul is trying to tell you. Take care of yourself and your energy. Keep shining your light in this world.